This is John Paul Rai. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan, and today I'm talking about a couple of clowns who call themselves lawyers. So CourtTV is starting to report on Depp vs. Heard, and three of their so-called lawyers have very bad takes, and one of them is kind of a mediator, and he's kind of just like a referee, but it's pretty darn bad. Now, due to copyright reasons, things like that, since I'm being careful before the case, this full clip will be linked on my Twitter account, so you could check that out. But I'm going to show a few screenshots and tell you guys exactly who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about. And they don't get very complicated, so it won't be so hard to explain. They don't really even use big words. I'm not sure they know big words. They're just very pessimistic about Johnny, and they're pretty one-sided here. So I'm going to show you some slideshows, some clips of that, and talk about what's going on. And one of the clowns here says, "She presents herself well." That couldn't be further from the truth. You'll see who I'm talking about, or I'll show you who I'm talking about. Anyway, here we go. So here's my tweet, and I say, terrible takes here. These people are lawyers, huh? Correct career, clowns. And CourtTV, by the way, only has about 30,000 followers, which isn't so great. I mean, even people who are famous but not so famous sometimes get to 1 million. So I guess I can't take these people so seriously. However, they will have a certain audience tuning into it. And it also seems like they're just now starting to think about things. About Amber and Johnny and what he's like. It doesn't seem like they've done any homework. It seems like people on the net, like The Real Laura B, Tug, channels like myself, my peers, have done a much better job researching than these clowns who are just like, well, maybe Johnny kind of is that drunk guy. Okay then, let's see some slides. So first of all, like professionals, like they should, they do get into the op-ed that Amber wrote. They, however, leave out an incredibly important fact that she didn't actually write it herself. So, they're just reporting bland facts as if they're the evening news, like Channel 7 quick news report. This is CourtTV. They're supposed to be about the law, about the court, about details that should come up when you mention important facts. But obviously, very surface level here. They also go into the basics about how Johnny is suing her, not the other way around, which is fine. I can't hold their feet to the fire for going over basics. However, like I just said, when you go over basics, you should include some details about those basics, so it's not just, an unprofessional, surface-level job that you'd expect not from CourtTV, but from a tabloid or something. Of course, they go over the UK case, and unfortunately, sure, that's relevant. Johnny did lose that case. However, they don't get into any reasons why. Johnny, from what I understand legally in the UK, had to prove his innocence, which it's not quite how it should work. The person blaming you has to prove you're guilty. So I heard this not too long ago, I forget where, but it's almost like you've got to prove something unfalsifiable, which isn't really possible, which is why the judge can just believe someone, basically, like he just believed Amber. But of course, they don't get into the fact that Judge Nickel probably played Monopoly and drank hot chocolate with Amber, but that's just my opinion. So now, this person up here, who I've got circled in green, is kind of, like I said, the referee, the moderator. He throws out questions to everybody else. He's somewhat neutral, you could say. This guy here is saying, basically, it looks really bad for Johnny because Amber's got these pictures of him passed out when he's drunk. And, okay, the pictures don't look so good, but those need explanations. And when you pass out drunk, you're usually just passed out, and that's it. But they could have just been from after when he fell asleep or something in his clothes. I mean, they're not actually proof of anything except he got drunk and fell asleep. And in a court of law, that's what they are. if you want to prove that he abused you while he was drunk, that requires more proof than the aftermath of whatever he did, because that's a huge blind spot there. But this guy is just like, looks pretty bad. Look at those photos. So, clown opinion. This guy right here, I'm circling, has the worst opinion I've heard in recent memory, who the guy completely compliments Amber. She comes off well. He did say she's been wrong about a few things, but, quickly moves on from that and defends her and says she presents well. She's well-spoken. All this kind of thing. I mean, if it wasn't so dead wrong, I'd find it funny, but I just can't find that kind of thing funny. This guy is a freaking lawyer, and he's looking at Amber Heard in this deposition, and he's like, she's well-spoken. That kind of blows my mind. That guy should not have a lawyer's license. Sure, everyone makes a mistake, but that's a huge mistake. It's obvious she's got trouble articulating her words. It's also a fact that she shows up drunk and high much of the time when she's got to do important interviews, like an interview for Aquaman 2. Aquaman 1. Well, probably a couple of 2s anyway. But the one we see is from Aquaman 1, where she's obviously drunk or high or something. That's $1 billion movie. What well-spoken person goes to an interview supporting $1 billion movie drunk or high? Not many. I guess this guy missed that. I think she had an interview, I think it was GQ or one of those silly magazines where she had some questions asked to her and she said the first word that came to mind. She was high. She was, out of her mind. I guess this guy missed that when he said, well-spoken, presents herself nicely. So if you're a freaking lawyer, do some homework. Watch some interviews. Watch what she's doing. Don't just say, oh, look at this. She presents herself nicely. What about when she was eating the cookies at that deposition? That's presenting herself nicely? Come on, man. Worst take I've heard in a long time. So, I'm not a lawyer. Maybe this guy does his job okay in other cases. But right here, this guy is an official freaking clown. Okay, so this lady up top actually plays the middle very well. She comes in and says, well, we need facts. We've got to wait and see. Don't take things lightly. So she's the best of the bunch, absolutely. I can't say too much bad for her, but it seems like she's got the least talking time out of the bunch. But alright, at least they had someone who was moderately fair. So she's not an official clown. She's just hanging around clowns and kind of saying random things. Anyway, I expected more from CourtTV. Like I said, fine, cover the freaking basics. Cover that it's a defamation case, he's suing her. You gotta say he lost in the UK. Fine, it's technically factual. Alright, say that. Talk about the op-ed a little bit. But you're a court channel. Get some facts right that contradict those things. Don't just make the narrative like a tabloid. Well, looks pretty bad. Johnny's a drunk and, we forgot to mention Amber's got a factual abuse record from 2009. We forgot to mention that she's wanted for perjury in Australia. We forgot to mention she's got a DUI. So, what makes you guys CourtTV? Nothing, really. Just the name's up there, CourtTV. And I've seen CourtTV before, and they did a relatively decent job at the cases. And hey, this is a 7-minute clip. I haven't seen the full back and forth. Maybe they bounce back here and there. But someone's saying Amber's well-spoken. Someone's saying Johnny Depp's case looks bad because he's a drunk. I just don't think that they bounce back from that. Because to do so, they would have had to contradict themselves, which I don't imagine they did. Anyway, you guys let me know what you're thinking down below. Doing Depp vs. Heard, pop culture, Little Manson, Little Momoa, whatever comes up. And if you're not subscribed here and you don't subscribe, I guess I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.